been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Fuck with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Fuck this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Yeah. Oh shit, they don't let me shoot a whole clip. Firepower in this coalition. We just turned the field into a demolition. It was desolate, but I had premonition. I was training for war every exhibition, every extra mission, every enemy listening. Get off my dick, I got bad intentions. Make it right every wrong, and I'm back with a vengeance. I show you the ropes. Beast in my town, I can show you the coast. Up in the shots if they wanted to smoke. If you know, then you know. Suited up, bitch, my whole team do the same. Don't you forget who created the game. Ready for war, I was born with grenades. The trenches where soldiers are made. Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever.
1, 2, 1, 2, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. 1, 2, 1, 2, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit, you know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
All right, it's episode 379 of the PHP Ugly podcast, a podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language, the PHP community, our company, PHP Architect, and just about anything else that kind of comes to mind. Mainly web focused, but you never know where this will go. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you've been here before, I only take responsibility for the first time. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
If you think PHP, you should be thinking PHP ugly.
That's right. You should be thinking ugly for sure. The show's making it a little better thanks to some sponsors, Honey Badger IO, as well as PHP Architect. And thanks to our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/PHP Ugly. We'll talk about all of them a little later in the show. But for now, how was your
Especially
week?
when we
Ben?
remember.
Oh, and be part of the show. If this is your first time joining, I'm like, there's usually a reason why I say if this is your first time joining, and I couldn't remember what it was. But if this is your first time joining, you can be part of the show by jumping into our Discord at discord.phpugly.com, and you can be part of the show. You can recommend title suggestions based on the show, and you can hang out up there all week long. Great group of people in there, great conversations happening in there, and we have a bunch of different rooms you can be a part of: music, memes, coding help, a bunch of rooms out
Jokes,
there.
all of it.
Jokes, yeah.
The whole reason I started that jokes channel was for the March issue of PHP Architect magazine, and I completely failed to put a jokes page into the magazine.
Oh!
So it came around.
You mean the March issue that's going to be the giveaway at PHP Tech this year, John?
That would be the one.
Physical print.
My kids, they get Scouts Life, and they love going through all the jokes in there. And as they were doing, I'm like, that'd be a great idea for our issue we're giving away at Tech. And they made up a couple of jokes that actually made sense, which surprised me. So then I brought in the jokes channel, trying to, just get a bunch of jokes to put on the page, and never made it happen.
That's a pretty major fail, man. I got to be honest with you. I want to try to give you some air support on it, but I really can't.
Nope, no air support on that one. That is just a terrible. But you said Tech, 18 days away.
Oh God,
it is happening quick.
I got that feeling in my stomach again. I think I had this last year. Pretty sure it's an ulcer. And I just, it's so weird. It's like you enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't want to ever do this again. It's just like it's really difficult. Yeah, I was looking at the calendar today. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. The funny thing is, you and I were talking just before the show. Like, are we doing it again next year? Like, because it is stressful trying to get all the planning in.
Yeah, let's get past Tech before we have that conversation with the public, because it's just there's a lot that goes into this, and we need to kind of evaluate and pluses and minuses of all that, but we need to get through this stressful period right now.
Yeah, well, pluses and minuses. It'd be nice if it all worked out. We'll just say that.
Let's just say it needs to make sense. You get it? Sense? Like dollars and cents.
That it does. You brought up Discord. Again, join us at discord.phpugly.com. I love going in there when I'm having an issue, right? Go in and ask people their opinions or thoughts on things. I had the weirdest issue today with one of our clients, and it's kind of been an unknown issue off and on for like the past 6 months or so. They have a cron job that runs every minute. That job, that cron job, actually creates a bunch of jobs in a worker queue, and then those have to process. And there's some weird timing issues with it, but occasionally that queue just grows and the jobs can't keep up with it. And finally today I'm in there and I'm looking at varlog syslog, and I'm getting all of these errors every like 30 seconds to a minute. and I forget. Now I got to go look at what it was. I dropped it in Discord earlier today, but basically it sounded like it was issues with memory. Here it is. Traps PHP general protection fault. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, that was my thing to John. I'm like, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what it means.
And the our friends in Discord, tried giving some good advice. I tried doing multiple things. I spun up a second server and shut down the first one, hoping, maybe moving it to a different physical server within AWS would, if it was bad memory, would fix it.
Mm-hmm.
No. Change the instance size from like a T3 medium to a C5 large. No, didn't fix it.
Bigger was not better in that case, huh?
No, it was not. I finally started literally just putting output into the Laravel code into the jobs to say, okay, at this point, put something into the log. At this point, like 3 or 4 spots within it. I mean, the whole script is only like 15 lines. It's not like it was huge. And it just, you could see it never got to the finish point. And it would output that traps general protection fault into syslog at that same time where you would think it would say this job is completed. And it was driving me nuts. I finally said, Eric, I need your help.
That's how bad it got. That's how bad it got. He reached out to me.
I'm like, you're my Laravel guru. Help me out here. And you fixed it. We still don't know what happened, but you fixed it. I should have pasted that snippet of code into so we could show it on the screen. But basically, in a model, I was hitting a reference to another table and saying, if the count is 0, update the record. Like, okay, there's no calls over here. Update the first table to say, hey, we're done. It's completed. Move on. And in that loop, because it was going over multiple, what we're calling runs, he was outputting to the log file. But I guess as soon as it went to update that record, something was actually, no, it wasn't even in there, right? Because we never got to the inside that if block.
Mm-hmm.
It was when it was trying to get the relationship to that other table on the second table, on the second loop through, not on the first one.
Second iteration, yeah.
Yeah. Still confused.
Well, and what confuses me is, so what the fix was, John was doing a count on the relationship of the model.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was checking to see if it was empty, and he was doing it correctly. Like, I looked at it, I'm like, well, initially when you pulled me in, you had already done some changes to the code. I'm like, no, you need brackets right there. And you're like, yeah, but if I put brackets there, that's when I get my segment fault error.
No,
So
it was
I'm
the
like,
other way around. It was.
Oh, it was the other way. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
On when accessing a Laravel relationship, there's a method in the model with the same name. So I thought maybe if I put the parentheses in there, it would solve it. And it seemed to actually fix it, but I don't know if I was breaking something else.
Right. So I told the fix, the way we got it working was, I'm like, well, when you call that model, you can do with the relationship and then reference the count differently down below. Which he did, and it worked. I'm like, all right, that makes no sense because both those methods should have worked. John did call out the fact that it was running on an older version of PHP. It was like 7.2, I think.
So no, it's 7.4. So it's
7.4.
Sarah's saying it's a report-worthy bug, but it's on a dead version, right? 7.4. So I'm not even going that route.
And I even think that somebody had kind of flagged that as a possible issue with PHP itself. And so I don't know if that's what the problem was or not, because like I said, both ways John was doing it should have been correct in the Laravel framework. But one worked and one didn't work. So I don't know.
End of day. One
In
didn't
the
work.
day, I helped fix something.
There you go.
That was actually the second time this week I helped fix something. At least this time I get credit for it. The first time I'm like, we have a team that's been working on a project, and we're down to like, hey, we need to release, and everybody's hyper focused on stuff. And this one aspect of it wasn't working, so I told the team working on it, I'm like, hey, move on, just work on something else. Let me take a crack at this. And it's frustrating for me because it's in the bigger code base, which I am not completely familiar with moving around in, and I have to update my entire machine to get everything up to speed. But I do all that, and I'm like looking at the code, and it wasn't even well, I take it back. It was something in the existing code base that was not working correctly. But then I pull it out to a little service that we were running that I had initially created as a proof of concept, and it had kind of gotten traction, went to production, and I'm looking at the code. I'm like, wow, this is just not making sense. And it was a very simple, basically toggle that said, hey, this client has this feature enabled. That's all it did. And the biggest issue was that, well, first thing, it kept returning the same HTTP code of 201, which is basically this record was created. Even if the record wasn't created, like even if the record already existed, it still returned that the record was created. So I'm like, okay, well, that's wrong. I'm like, why did I do that? And it didn't even occur to me to check git blame, which is in line in my editor. I'm just like taking responsibility, like, oh, I screwed up here. But what made it worse is that it should have been returning a Boolean of true and false, and it was returning a string of true and false. And I'm like, wait, this is very wrong. So, but it's been running like that for a very long time. So the first thing is I realized, oh, hey, this is not my code. So that made me feel better.
I love when it's not my fault.
I love it. So once I realized it wasn't my fault, then I'm like, okay, I need to blame somebody here. And I end up pulling in another team member. I'm like, hey, this what I'm seeing over here and what I'm seeing over there. First thing, I know this code is wrong, okay, but this is what was working before. Now, if I look over in the monolith application, it's like, this doesn't seem right either. Like, this seems broken. It should be doing this, and we work through it and get it fixed. And fortunately, like the team member I had brought in, he was like, well, I'm in the code base right now. I'm in the repo. Let me fix it. Let me push it. Let me check it. And he said, let me fix it. Let me push it, and we can check it to see if that takes care of everything. He does all that. It's fixed. It's working. I'm like, great. I go into Slack. I'm like, hey, this has been fixed. And then somehow they're thanking the other team member for fixing it. Like, hey, what the fuck? Am I like chopped liver here? So that's when I feel like a dad. I'm like, okay, I got to step back, let him take credit. We know who fixed it.
Because you don't want to appear petty.
Yeah, trust me. I was very petty. I wrote out petty messages multiple times, and then I couldn't find a good.
I'm not saying you weren't. You just don't want to appear petty to the client.
Trust me. Had I found the correct gifify meme gif there, I would have been much more petty. But I couldn't find the one that really captured my pettiness on it, and so I moved on.
All right. You're leading me into one of my tickets here that I wanted to bring up. You said git and git blame. I don't know how I stumbled into this video. So you think you know git. I want this guy to present a tech. Like, he's got a very casual way of speaking and presenting, which is great. And the information in this video was like mind blowing. He
Well,
tries to,
John is selling it a little short. This guy who is very casual. Not only is he casual, but he's very modest. He's one of the creators of GitHub.
right.
It's like, oh yeah, I was one of the creators of GitHub, and then he just like moves on talking about Git, which I understand. Git and GitHub are two different things. I understand that, but he moves on talking about Git like like he was very modest. I did watch the video. Great video.
I like later on in the video where he casually mentions how Windows bought GitHub, and he was very thankful for that because I'm sure he made out very well on that deal.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of commits, either by me or other people on teams, where the commit is just a refactoring of the code to meet current guidelines, current style guides for the team, right? You're changing how an if statement is laid out or a class is defined. Those stupid little things that they didn't write the code, but they beautified it or whatever the case is, right? We have one person that has spent a lot of time using PHP CS and CBF to really try and get the code all unified so that we're all working in the same style. But when you go to do a git blame, they get the blame on a lot of lines. It turns out that there are switches within git blame to prevent that. Like if you're just moving a function from one point in the code to another, or white space, or just those little changes, you can, I think, git blame -C, and if you do it like 2 or 3 times, it changes how git blame works.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so much great information in there.
Yeah, it was a fantastic video. It's one of those videos that I started watching, and it was prep work for the show. I didn't notice it until, I don't know when you put it on, but I didn't notice it until this morning. So I'm like, let me put this in the background while I'm working, and I'll have something to be able to talk to the video about. And it was one of those things like, wait, what did he say? Wait, hold on, wait, what? And then I'm like going to my terminal and typing in these git config, git globals. I'm like, oh, git global, yeah, I need that. Yeah, I could use that. And yeah.
So I did that as well. But the one that screwed me up was you can actually sign your git commits with SSH keys instead of GPG keys.
How great is that?
It's not.
Uh-oh. I didn't use it because I already have my commit signing thing set up, so I didn't touch that one. But it is a difficult process to configure it if you're not familiar with GPG.
Yeah, so in general, it is great, except for I had it set up with GPG. I switched the configuration to SSH, but PHP Storm, which is what I use a lot for my committing, only understands GPG keys. So when I went to do a rebase, and then it went to finish the rebase for the first time since I made that change, it was like signing failed. I'm like, wait, what? I'm still in the middle of a rebase. And it's like, nope, can't finish. And then it was me trying to go find my keys. And then I'm like, oh, wait, in this repo, I should be using a different email address with a different GPG. Oh, let me go create a new GPG key. So it just... I definitely went down this yak shaving route of how am I going to sign my keys now?
So that's disappointing to hear that. So you think PHP Storm just doesn't support it? Is that what you're saying?
That's my guess. Yes.
Okay.
Well, when you go into the interface to set up signing, they only give you the GPG option. And my assumption is if you don't have it turned on in Storm, it doesn't send the right flags to actually sign it, when it actually runs the commit. So correct. There is no way to sign SSH sign within PHP Storm yet.
Yeah, and somebody in Discord just pointed it out. The whole SSH signing is new, fairly new. And yeah, it's going to be nice because when we bring on we're one of those companies where we ask our developers to sign their commits, especially, and the whole idea is there behind that is it gives us some security internally that the projects we're working on are committed by the developers, and externally, like in public repos, it has that legitimacy of, hey, this was a commit from a legitimate PHP architect committer.
Mhm.
So, but like I said, it's always it can be clumsy to set up with the GPG. So when I saw that, I'm like, wow, this is going to be so much easier to explain to people how to do signed commits. But it is in that adoption period. But I think they'll get adopted pretty quickly.
You already had your SSH key anyway, so you can push up to GitHub, right? So it should be very easy.
Which is a hack that I didn't realize a lot of people didn't know. If you go to your profile, your github.com / your username in GitHub, and then do .keys, it'll show you all the public keys on your that are associated to you. You can do that to any user, not just yours. You can do it to any user. I actually use that in a lot of my scripts when I'm creating servers that I need to give our developers access to. The script will go out and pull all their public keys from GitHub and create, them as keys that they can use on that server.
We've been doing that for years. Right?
Yeah, it's a great little tool to have. I'm always surprised at how many people don't know about that.
It's really nice when you're rotating keys. If you have your server set up to automatically grab your latest one, less to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another good use case of that. Yeah.
Until somebody compromises your GitHub account and adds keys.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden has access to all your servers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Add keys. Yeah. 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 That's true. If they added their public key to your repo, yeah, that would be an issue.
So Sarah's saying that if you're pushing with SSH, you should be signing with a different key. The problem is, I think the problem would be in GitHub, all your keys are going to be in the same place, right? You can use any key for signing and for pushing your code.
Yeah.
So for now, sticking with GPG. I had it all set up. It works.
Yeah, and I also I still haven't really gotten around to using PHP Storm as my primary managing Git. I still drop to the command line for that, or I'm already in Vim and I'll just pull up lazy Git in Vim. So yeah, that's neither. I mean, that's not saying that I still think JetBrains will probably get up to speed on that fairly quickly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk. Well, that's the other thing we didn't talk about. And he didn't even really mention it in his video, the video that you shared. So you think Git. He actually has a tool out there called Git Butler that I checked out. And I'm like, hey, this doesn't
make
bad.
Money. It doesn't, but how does it make like there's no pricing page, it's all open source, but he's got a team behind it. I mean, he's got the Windows money, obviously, but still, you would think if you're building a product like that, there's got to be some sort of
the guy's got Microsoft money now. He doesn't care. He's just putting stuff out there. So yeah, I'm not a big Git GUI guy. Even the GitHub GUI, I never got around to using it. Even PHP Storm, I don't really mess around with a lot. This one I liked because it was just really easy. Like it showed you everything. I installed it and had it on one repo. I don't have a lot of experience with it. We're talking like within the last couple of hours. But like the one thing I liked about it is it would show you all your files that you have to commit. And you can commit, or you can create another branch and start dragging files out of that commit over to another branch and make that commit, which is something I like because I'll create a branch to do something and I always end up doing something else. Like I'm like, oh yeah, you know why I'm here? Let me change this stuff. I've been waiting to do this. And then when I go to commit, I'm like, damn, this really should be 2 or 3 commits. And I know, I can manually do that by saying, okay, add this file, commit, add that file, commit. I understand that. I don't do that. That would be like a case where it's like, oh yeah, I like this GUI. To be able to drag those files over.
I think he calls them virtual branches. Is what they were called.
Yeah. So that was cool. All right, so tools are good in the right place at the right time, and we like to thank one of our sponsors and one of the greatest tools out there, honeybadger.io.
Thanks to our friends at honeybadger.io for sponsoring this podcast. Monitoring, like web development, can be complicated. There are tons of tools and techniques, but you just want to know that your app is up and that your customers are happy. When your customers encounter a problem, you need clear, actionable intelligence, not walls of charts and reams of logs to tail. That's why they built Honeybadger, the monitoring tool we always wanted. A tool that's there when you need it and gets out of your way when you don't, so that you can keep shipping code, know when critical errors occur, and which customers are affected. Respond instantly when your systems go down. Improve the health of your systems over time, and fix problems before your customers can report them. Honeybadger is the application health monitoring tool built for you, the developer who cares about a quality product and happy customers. Be the hero of your team and sign up for a free trial and start monitoring today at honeybadger.io. Setup takes as little as 5 minutes. See what you've been missing and fix it. Once again, that's www.honeybadger.io.
Thank you,
Honeybadger.
So I was supposed to do a new read for them because they have a new product out called Honeybadger Insights. And
I was wondering if we were gonna do. I didn't get any email on that. I was wondering if every now and then they reach out and say, "Hey, we have this new thing. Can you do a read for it?" And they didn't give us anything for this one.
So they did. Maybe I'm sure you were copied on it, but anyway. So yeah, Honeybadger has Honeybadger Insights. There's this part in here I like. Splunk-like querying without having to sell my kidneys. Nice. That's a direct quote from someone who just saw Honeybadger Insights, the new observability tool from the folks at honeybadger.io. Insights is a fresh approach to logging, performance monitoring, and observability. It's a bit like Splunk, Datadog, or CloudWatch logs, but with just the good parts and a reasonable price tag. Yeah, definitely something we need to take a look into. We need to work more on the ads for the future as well.
So I want to touch on one quick thing with tools before we move on, because there is some news about next week's podcast and the conference and stuff I definitely want to get to, along with like a nice long list of topics to talk about. But so we talked about Git Butler, right? This new thing. I have a question for you, John, and I have a question for the people in Discord watching right now. What is your when do you make a determination to use a new tool? And I'll give you my issue that I'm struggling with right now, and then I'd love to hear your input, John. I'm a terminal guy, right? I've been a terminal guy for a long time. Just talked about how I still do most of my Git stuff at the command line. And there's fantastic terminal GUIs, I guess you call them now. Things like Lazy Git, Lazy Docker. Go has really kind of brought to the terminal like functionality that we've never seen before. But I have a very good workflow. Like I have this Tmux workflow that I've been living with for a couple of years that I can't like break my head out of not using tmux anymore. Like I feel like I always have to have tmux. When I had my Linux desktop, it was because my justification was, well, if I'm away from the house and I'm SSHing in, I connect to my tmux session and I'm back to where I was when I was sitting at my desk, right? That was always my justification. A few months ago, my desktop, goes sideways on me. I move over to the laptop, and I went about half a day not using tmux on my laptop. When I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. I need my tmux, and I just started using it again because I already had it configured. Well, there's this new terminal out called Warp. Everybody's talking about Warp. It has AI built into it and all that. And I'm struggling first off because I can't think of not using an open source terminal. Like this is not, I don't think it's open source, but it is a commercial product. For sure, it's a commercial product, and I don't think the source code is open source. So that right off the bat is already a struggle. But then if I use my tmux workflow with Warp, I basically I lose all the benefits of using Warp, right? All the AI and all that. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't break away from my terminal workflow. I have no super strong justification for that. Just it's how I like to work. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, kind of, and you know me, like I will try the new and shiny pretty quickly. But this is like one of those situations where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where that line is for me. Like,
I think it's you try it. It was, who was it? TJ says, it's got to stick. Try it out if you like it. I mean, when we started talking about Warp in Discord, I downloaded it. I tried it. I didn't see any benefit to me in how I work. You mentioned tmux. I love tmux, but I don't use it like you use it. I really only use it on remote servers because if my connection crashes, I lose things or scripts die or whatever. So when I jump on one of our servers to run billing, I jump on, start up a tmux session, and it's there. I'm ready to go. When I'm working in production, which I do a lot for PHP Arch, I'm doing that. I jump on, fire up my tmux session, so I can have one where I'm tailing logs, one where I'm actually making changes. But in general, I do the same thing. Somebody talks about a new tool, just like this, so you think you know Git video. It's like, oh, I want to go try making these changes and hope I don't screw things up too badly. And I always end up screwing things up.
Well, that's a little different though. The Git one was just Git configurations. You don't really change your workflow so much.
Yeah, but something changed. I don't know what. Like that was the big thing that I was messing with was my Git configuration, which screwed up my Git committing. But I went to run a test which ran earlier today, no issues. Like I was making changes to code, running my test. And then later today, I went to run the same test, and all of a sudden, it just won't run for me. I'm like, what changed in PHP Storm from the time it was working a few hours ago to now? And I don't have an answer. That's what I'm saying. I tried something new, and somewhere along the way, something broke.
That's how I am with me and my history of my Vim. Like I completely blow away my Vim configuration and start over like pretty much every 6 months. Not because I always break it or I'm having trouble. It's just because I see a new approach or I see a new implementation of how somebody has things configured. I'm like, oh, I want to try that workflow, and I'll I say blow away. You should see my Dropbox. I have all these different Git configurations in my Dropbox that I can, because I use that stow to enable, like, to create symlinks. I'll just like stow one away and symlink the other one, and just mess around with it. Or I'll see somebody like Michael Dorinda, who's a big Vim person, I'll go to his dot files and like, okay, I want to try, Michael's configuration out for a while, and I'll pull it in and do all the symlinks and things like that. So yeah, I blow my TJ Miller's in our Discord saying he's the same way. He'll blow away his dot files annually. It just feels like especially with Vim. I'm the same way with PHP Storm. Like in probably Chrome, like extensions and plugins, I get crazy with that shit. And then every now and then you just have to blow it away and start rebuilding it and seeing what you actually need.
Especially with plugins and extensions where you install everything, you're like, oh, that looks interesting, but you're not actually using it. Like it's there, and it slows things down or causes other issues.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's talk PHP tech. Actually, before we talk tech, let's take a look at calendar here. Right, today is the 4th. Next week is the 11th, which you won't be here next week, right?
I will not be here next week.
A host on PHP Ugly next week.
I will be on a plane coming back from Mexico, hopefully.
Back from Mexico. Okay.
Back from Mexico, hopefully.
That's good to hear. Glad. So at least I'll have a couple weeks before or at least I'll have a full week before I know how much I need to panic for the conference. So next week, we will have a show. We're going to have some celebrity guests or some celebrity hosts. And I use the word celebrity very loosely. They're actually both in Discord right now. TJ Miller and Sarah Goldman are going to jump on with me, and we'll do a PHP Ugly, the three of us, next week. Maybe more. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, for the three of us for sure have all confirmed, and we'll do our show next week.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So be sure to. We don't do guests a whole lot. And I think this is like the second or third time in the history of PHP Ugly we've had somebody else on their show. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be like a PHP Ugly / roundtable sort of vibe. So then you come back. You'll be back the 11th, but not in time for the show or travel and all. We're recording on the 18th.
Yep, this is the plan.
Okay, we'll record on the 18th. Then it's tech, man.
I know I have baseball on the 18th, but I think it's not till later.
You need to be sure about this stuff because I have an early morning Friday morning to catch our plane.
So do I, because I'm on the same plane. We may want to record a little earlier on the 18th. The game starts at 5. I need to be there an hour or so early to set up the field and all that stuff. So
okay. Well, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But we will record on the 18th. Obviously, not recording on the 25th. I'm not even going to pretend like, oh, yeah, we'll record at the conference. No, we will not. I need every minute of downtime I can get. Not even that we would have it. So then we'll be back in May, I guess, after that. It's going to be exciting. So there will be a show next week. It's going to be a couple of new guests and maybe a few surprises. We'll see how that plays out. And yeah. All right. So with tech,
I'm looking at my calendar for that week since you brought it up. I was skipping ahead. And just all the flights, because the airlines drive me crazy. Sometimes the airlines would email me the receipt and the itinerary and that I have to forward it off. And sometimes it wouldn't. And I don't know. I did the same thing for everybody's. So I guess it's per airline. But the ones where they email me, Google will automatically put it on your calendar saying, hey, you got a flight here. Yeah. So I'm looking at like 15, 20 flights. Like the calendar seems a little crazy that during that time.
Yeah.
What do we have going on? Well, lots of images, right? We've been dealing with the design company that we use, where we got our big vinyl posters, the posters for outside the rooms, our badges, just lots happening. Mm-hmm. You haven't gotten your flight confirmation? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was supposed to book it.
The flight confirmation is like a What was the old Microsoft Maps? What was it called? Quest? No, what was the Maps used to be called?
MapQuest?
MapQuest. There you go. That's your flight confirmation. MapQuest. They don't fly anywhere, John. Sarah lives in the area.
No, I know.
Yes, we've been working on graphics, but the important thing to know is if you are considering coming to tech, which we honestly hope you are, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, the room block has been closed. Not by any choice of ours. It's just how the hotel works. It says, hey, we've got to close your room block and open up those rooms for other people at this point. So that doesn't mean that the rooms are sold out. It doesn't mean that if you don't reach out to us, we can reach out to the hotel. And
I made changes to the website today. When you go to the venue page where it used to say book now, it says something like email booking agent. When you click that, it should automatically open up an email to the person that will do the booking for you. Will CC me, and we'll have the beginnings of an email saying, I would like to book a room from this date to this date for PHP Tech.
So do they still get the room rate for tech, or have we lost that room rate?
I do not know. It's out of my control at this point.
Right.
All I know is if you click on that and send them an email, they will help you with the booking. I'll be CC'd so that I'm in the loop and I know that you were trying to, and they will send back a confirmation. Hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, see, TJ's her. Dude, come on, man. You're killing me, brother.
I know they still have some rooms available. We had one or two booked today. So
yeah. So there's rooms. There's definitely rooms. It's just they had to close the block.
But it's what's frustrating to me on this whole thing is I understand you want to be able to sell the other room. So if we blocked 10, you want to be able to sell those. That's fine. But why can my booking link not still work? The same thing was when we ran out of rooms.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, just book the rooms. Don't take them away from the people going to our conference, though.
Right. Or when we hit our room block, just if you have more rooms available, let them still book. Why?
Right.
Why is it so like here's the line. You have this many rooms. Outside of that, you can't book.
I know. I thought the same way. It's like, why do we have these? I get the block from the perspective of, hey, this many people have to book rooms through your conference, right? I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Say, whatever, 100, we need 100 people to book rooms through your conference. Okay. Making sure we meet that commitment. But like after that, it's like, if they're coming in with a code, just apply whatever is related to that code to that booking and move on. It doesn't, I don't get it either.
Am I allowed to call Sarah out on something?
Absolutely. Oh God, I encourage it because she's very mean to me. I need her to focus that anger on somebody else for a little bit.
She says she booked a couple of nights so that she could pass out after the parties. You had no problem passing out in the game room last year.
Listen, you didn't make it to your room last year. You just passed out in the ballroom.
So Eric and I discussed it, and much to his chagrin, I screwed up on the tickets. I assumed we were going to have food and drink like we did last year for the after parties, and it was listed on the ticket that we were. As of this morning, we were not going to have food and drink until Eric's current wife decided to do some research and say, nope, you said it right here. You have to offer it.
Yeah.
So
I was saying,
Eric's
as of a couple hours ago, I was still fighting it.
So at the conference, when you see Eric's current wife, you have to thank her for having food and drink at the after party.
That's very true. Very, very much true. I'm telling John, I'm like, hey, we have a legal team now. I'm pretty sure we can get out of this. Damn it.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was I am legit. This is not like a bit. I am legit not happy about it because of the costs. Because I feel like first thing when you're dealing with these hotels, they overcharge on everything to begin with. Like the lunches, our conference tickets would be under $100 if we weren't getting ripped off left and right. I don't want to say ripped off. I guess that's a bad term. If the practice of these hotels weren't what they were, our conference costs would be much lower. We don't look to make bank off this. We just try to cover costs, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like it's even worse at these after party things because they won't let you bring outside food in. We tried that loophole once before. They're like, no, you can't bring outside food in. And so I don't know. I mean, tell me if I'm crazy, John, but it feels like we're paying more for that than we are for the lunches.
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
I'm not happy to hear we're paying more for the lunches.
The
We're just
lunch,
paying
the
like,
lunch is what is legitimately where the cost is at.
these
That's
after
the
parties are so expensive, though.
but
I
the
mean,
after
and it would have
yeah.
been different. So typically, I know I'm bitching and whining. You got to understand how razor thin things are on our end. Typically, a sponsor steps up and says, "Hey, we'll sponsor the after party," and it's no longer an issue for us because that's like the agreement. Like, hey, we're giving this money for the after party, so have at it. And we didn't get that this year, and it's fine. I'm not blaming. We got a lot of sponsors, could use some more, would appreciate it more. Not bitching about the fact that we sponsors didn't step up. It's our fault for just making the assumption we were going to do it and like marketing it that way.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like it was disappointing to hear. It's like, oh, so we had to come out of pocket. You're basically not out of
Yeah.
pocket, but like we got to pay for it still.
Yeah. Basically, where we were making just the tiniest bit of money, we're now breaking even.
Yeah.
The one that kills me, I don't know why we're talking about all of our costs, but we are. The cost of coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
The cost. Anyone come into tech, you better drink at least a gallon, if not 2 gallons of coffee by yourself every single day.
I'm taking one of those things up to my room at night. It's like, no, this is coming with me. I paid for it. I'm taking this up. And the current wife, bless her heart, she's like, well, I'll just run to Starbucks every morning and get a bunch of those like containers.
The travelers.
Like, yeah, the travelers. I'm like, yeah, they won't let you do that. Well, they won't know. We'll just put them under the table. So just let people know that's where they're at.
Shh. Hey, you want some of the good stuff?
Oh man, I hate the conference. I mean, I love the conference.
We have to laugh, or otherwise we're gonna cry.
Yeah, I love the conference, and I'm happy once we're through it. But like this time, like this next couple weeks, I hate, man. I just hate the next couple of weeks because there's the money and all this flowing. It's not just the money. It's like you're dependent on like what 50 people. Your basically all your speakers making their travel, having their presentations done, getting everything set up because we don't pay for AV stuff. We do all the AV stuff ourselves to help save money. Making sure all that stuff is working and set up, getting all this graphic stuff done. I totally understand why historically, well, the last iteration of PHP Architect, they had created a separate company that's all they did were the conferences because it's a full-time job. I mean, it's flat out a full-time job. All right, no more bitching and complaining about the conference. Y'all just better be there and enjoy yourself.
We are excited about hosting it. We want more people to enjoy it with us.
Yeah, that's it. That's it exactly. All right, so yeah, if follow the links if you're listening to the podcast. Follow the link as far as booking a room and reach out to us and let us know if there are any issues. Okay.
All right, you have a ticket. I don't know if you're going to cover your top one that is very news to me.
Oh, I would love this top one. I'm glad you went with the top one. Let's why we do that actually, because I forgot to do it last week. Let's do our our Patreon supporters. Let me get them up and running. Actually, I'm going to do that. No, let's not do that because I'm going to share this website. What's our
TJ,
favorite?
thank you for sending that email because I'm curious how this is going to work. How they're
Yeah,
doing reservations via email.
what's our favorite thing as developers? Absolute favorite thing to work with as developers. That's right, John. Time zones. We all absolutely love time zones. It's our favorite thing.
Date time in
And
general. Yep.
just to make our life just a little bit more enjoyable, the U.S. government is proposing that the moon gets its own time zone. You might ask yourself, but Eric, why would the moon need its own time zone? That would be a great question to ask yourself. Whoever you are, read the article. No, the reason the White House is recommending this is because of the moon's orbit. I guess time actually moves faster, slower.
It says time moves quicker there relative to Earth.
Right. So time moves quicker. It's very minute amount,
58
58.7 microseconds a day.
microseconds.
Right. 58.7 microseconds a day, faster than Earth. So, I mean, the reality of it is it doesn't impact us as developers. That was just a joke of talking about time zones. But I guess it does impact when they're trying to do synchronized things with the moon, like, landings and stuff like that. There is a first thing. Did they misspell synchronize, or is this like some British way of saying synchronize?
Sure.
Anyways, apparently it has a significant impact when trying to synchronize spacecraft. So they're trying to get a time zone designation for the moon, which I don't know.
What does that actually end up doing, though? Doesn't SpaceX and NASA already have that figured out?
Right, like, okay, so it does impact the synchronization, but like they've probably already factored that in. Matter of fact, by giving it its own time zone, you're probably going to break something. I'm sure. Like somebody's code is going to break because somebody's doing some development. It's like it's not like the moon will ever get its own time zone. I'll just do it this way. Yeah. First thing, British people learn to spell correctly.
I want to see the NTP packet trying to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought this was a cool little geeky thing of what
geeky and scary, really.
Well, I got scary for you. Are we ready for our scary part?
Moon daylight savings time. Is it Moon Standard Time or Moon Daylight Time? Damn it.
All right. We got scared. We got doom and gloom. We haven't had doom and gloom in a while, and we got some doom and gloom. And this really ties into a lot of things we talked about today. Did you see about this XZ backdoor?
Yes.
Okay. So do you understand it?
No, I haven't done enough research. I did notice that because I'm on a Mac and I guess it was updated through Brew, so I had to re-update to go back to the right version or the non-compromised version.
Oh, interesting. Chances are you probably would not have been too concerned about it. It really impacted Debian systems. And there was another version, but Debian was one that rang true with me because that's what I run on is the Debian stuff. But so XZ is this compression algorithm thing, and it created an exploit that when ran on a Debian system would allow it to take over the SSH daemon. This was due to the way Debian has sysd implemented, and it would start running these multiple daemons. And one of the ones that would run most distros doesn't. It won't run XC, but Debian does. It allowed it to tie into SSH. Created this backdoor. It was a very kind of hypothetical thing, a theoretical thing, not hypothetical, theoretical thing. Of course, all these things are theoretical until they get exploited.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a real deal. Now, that's not so much the interesting part. For the record, a couple of camps came up through this. There's this whole battle within the Linux, Unix world of whether or not sysd is a good implementation. And a lot of people started pointing to this and saying, this is why sysd is a security flaw within the system. I'm not going to have that conversation. I honestly don't know enough about it to have that conversation. There's the old trope of this proves that open source is not secure. The other side of that coin is, no, it proves why open source is secure, because it was open source, developers were able to see this, they were able to fix it, and all that. Okay, we're not having any of those conversations. What we will have a conversation about is how this exploit happened. This is a crazy story, and there's a whole write-up about it in Wired as well. Let me open that up.
Awoods just won the title game again.
Of course he
Damn
did. Awoods didn't the episode Awoods didn't name. Is that the title?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wired has this whole write-up on G-Tan or whatever. I don't know. It's probably not even a real person, just a made-up name. But and how they exploited this. So the GitHub persona of this developer has been around and contributing to other open source projects for a while. They started focusing on the XZ project and contributing to it. And all of a sudden there became this uproar within that little community of people complaining about updates and how quickly things were being released, and everything was too slow, and they wanted features implemented quicker, to the point where the maintainer said, I'm tired of this. I don't get paid for this. It's not worth the time. Does anybody want to take over this project? And this developer persona stepped up to take over the project. So now they're the maintainer of this project. It's still open source. It's still, all the code is still visible, but they're the maintainer. They start slipping in the back door and started implementing the back door slowly but surely. And I guess a developer at Microsoft who was working on some Postgres stuff, he was debugging things and noticed that SSH was taking way too long to respond. It was using way too many resources. And, he started drilling in. He goes, hey, there seems to be a bug in your system here, and started pointing it out. And I guess all of a sudden the gig was up. He tries to deploy, he looks to implement the full backdoor, and wasn't actually able to get everything implemented because somebody had already identified that there was a problem happening. But dude, this is like the long con. This is our coding equivalent of the long con of social engineering of a open source repo to take over to become the maintainer of this popular, but albeit like not, it's one of those projects that is typically deployed on every Linux system out there. Every Unix system out there does this, but nobody knows it. It's like NTP, right? There's one guy behind NTP, and it's like nobody knows. Everybody uses it, but nobody knows of it. and it was crazy. So it's been fixed, but read these articles. I gave you kind of the highlights of it, but read the show notes. This is such a interesting story. Yeah,
But it's scary because you realize that can happen. One, the original author, goes rogue, goes bad. They're like, wait, I've got this very popular package. Maybe I want to do this, right? Not necessarily the long con like this was, but we've seen other.
Oh, we lost John. John's back. John, rejoin us.
What in the world?
I don't know. That was weird.
So
somebody's like, John's about to say too much. Just take him off air.
So do you remember what happened last week where on my screen you are frozen in our main window, but on the side you're moving? That's what's happening right now.
Anyway. Am I frozen for you again?
Yeah, hopefully you're not on the actual stream.
I hope not.
But all I was saying was we've seen it in the past where, an open source package maintainer just gets fed up with it and they pass it off to just anybody that happens to be talking to them at that point, right? So it's a scary proposition anywhere with any code that you're using from another source.
We had something worse happen within our very own community where somebody impersonated a well-known contributor to the PHP internals. And it was a whole thing of, okay, how did these credentials get compromised? How did they start doing commits and pull requests under this person? But again, it's the whole open source community. The reason the one with internals got caught because people were looking at the PR saying, okay, this doesn't seem like your commit. This is weird. And eventually, things started bubbling up. But yeah, it's a thing. It's like it's with the whole.
All right, I'm not doing OSS anymore. I'm going back to.
Well, that's the whole truth, right? It's like with closed source solutions, the issues are there. We just know less about them. It's like the whole, our head is buried in the sand. We just trust that everything's working.
Right. You get that rogue developer in Microsoft that puts a backdoor into source code that you never know about. And
or Microsoft knows about it. Microsoft knows about it because government asked them to put it there, and they just don't let the public know. There's all these different scenarios that play out. So yeah, it's something. And there's this whole idea behind security models of who's watching the watchers, right? There's always this thing in the open source world. It's everybody. Everybody's watching everybody. It's hopefully, there. You just hope, right? You just hope that there's somebody qualified enough to be able to catch these things that happen. And this blew me away when the more I started reading about this, the more I was just like, are you kidding me? And it was just like so random that somebody found it. Unfortunately, it was a very high-level engineer at Microsoft who was just trying to figure out why Postgres was having these performance issues, and crazy. All right, that was my best try at doom gloom. I just added that last link that came in on Discord, the one to infosec.exchange. That's a Mastodon server. Has a graph of basically the whole outbreak. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I mean, this stuff dates back to 2021 when that GitHub persona first kind of emerged, and then the second article that talks about the actual persona. I say persona because it's probably more than one individual. It's probably a whole group of people. But how, like, the internet started doing its own sleuthing to try to figure out who it is, and like, oh yeah, it's North Korea or China. No, it's not North Korea or China. It's got to be like because the time zone is happening, and when the commits are happening, when this persona is doing commits, it's got to be a European country, because not only is it happening during European timeline times a day, but they take off for like Christian holidays like Christmas and Easter. So
Because nobody hacks at night.
right. So like you read that article about the mystery of.
So now
And
I have a question.
yes.
Do you pay for Wired?
Do I pay for Wired? I did today, because
Okay.
I got so pulled into these articles. It was $5 for the first year.
So do those links include a PHP Ugly affiliate code in there if we're gonna have people paying Wired?
Shoot, you are right, man.
We're sharing links that people won't have access to.
I hate when people do that, and I just did that. You're absolutely right. Well, I think you get one read a day, right? Isn't that what it is?
I don't know. I didn't get one. I pulled it up and it was locked for me.
Damn it. Well, it wasn't the first one wasn't locked for me, and then when I tried to pull up the second one, that's when it said, "Hey, if you want more than one read."
It was, so it pulled up, and then as soon as I started scrolling, or if I waited, I don't know how long it gave me, but I think I pulled it up and then continued talking to you, and then when I went back, it was locked.
I apologize. I apologize to the listeners. I hate doing that. I always try to not do that, and I got so wrapped up in these articles that I just added them to the Trello board, and I forgot that to read the second article, I had actually subscribed to Wired. Damn, I apologize. I'll try not to make that mistake moving forward. But yeah, look at the titles will be in the show notes. Just paste those in Google. I'm sure you can find alternative solutions or alternative means to reading it. I'm not going to recommend what they are, but there are ways to get around paywalls. Matter of fact, my Raycast actually has that built in. It's crazy.
Really?
I should have tried that first. Yeah, Raycast is another example of a new tool that I adopted very quickly, and I don't want to live without now. Like it literally one of these. I hate being that person who says I want to not use the Mac, but there's this one app I don't want to stop using. I'm not saying Raycast is that yet, but I would miss Raycast when I go back to Pop OS. I'm going, it's like
I still use it only as my Finder replacement.
Oh man, I've got to show you how I'm using it.
Not Finder, whatever that is, the search bar.
Yeah, I think
Spotlight.
Spotlight, yeah. I gotta show you. I gotta show you the tricks of Raycast, man.
If only we were going to spend a week together sometime soon.
Yeah, I don't want to physically sit next to you that long. Jesus. All right, we are running along, John. I don't appreciate this. Next week we'll probably be wrapping up early. We'll probably like 15-20 minutes in before I'm annoyed with Sarah. And TJ just shames me into realizing I'm not a real developer, and I just end the stream. But that's a joke. Be sure to hang out with us next week, and we'll see what comes of it. There's been things I wanted to try, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm excited about it. I want to see what you do.
Yeah.
Maybe I get to take a break.
I was like, we might end up being too good, man. It might be too good. God damn it, John! I forgot to do it again. Hold on, wait. I forgot to.
Sarah, Eric dropped it within the first 5 minutes of this show. You said you were bringing it up earlier, and you forgot, huh?
Yeah, I did, because I wanted to share the. I wanted to share the website. So thanks to our supporters on Patreon. That's what John's talking about. I brought up their Patreon page. I really wanted to bring it up because, I have tech running behind it. So it was like it was going to be a whole thing. I should have brought it up when we were talking about tech. I don't know why I didn't think about that. But thanks to all of our supporters on Patreon. You are fantastic people and make doing this a little easier. We do appreciate it. All right. I have to take you down, though, because I have to get our outro stuff queued up here.
we need to work on the bumper so we can get our videos out quickly this year.
Right. Yeah, there's that, huh? Yep. Yeah, we gotta do that. I gotta work on the code for tech just so that we can even do the streams, bring the streams up. Yeah. All right. Lots to do the next couple of weeks. Really excited about tech. We'll probably be talking about it much more. Well, John won't be talking. Well, John will. We have one more show before tech with John. So the day before,
the day before we leave. Yeah,
I say the day before, like literally, you and I are going to be on a plane less than 24 hours after the show ends. So
yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode 379 of PHP Ugly. I'm Eric.
And I'm John.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
So I just looked. Our team flies in on Saturday. I mean on Sunday. I thought they were flying in Saturday.
No, it's Sunday. Because the equipment doesn't get there until Sunday, right?
No, he's getting there Saturday.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. Everyone will start rolling in probably around noon on Sunday. I hope they're ready to drop their bags and get to work.
Yeah. Yep, it's going to be fun. We need to yeah. Did you already shoot me down on the gaffer tape thing? You said that those were expensive, huh?
No, I couldn't find the same one, and we don't need a second one. We have the one there.
I was like, we don't need a second one. We're not laying the tape down.
Yeah.
We got gaffers.
Nah. Yeah. No, I don't think we need another one. We're good.
Yes, I definitely the guilty person of cursing more than anybody else on the show. I think if I go back through all the transcripts, I probably drop more bad words than anybody else. I try not to. Yeah. I'm so bad at that.
You don't try that? How are we talking about?
What?
So you don't try that? How are we talking about?
Fuck you. Wait, what? Oh man, I was telling John I achieved a new old man high this week. Current wife knows what I'm talking about. I got to accomplish a new old man thing. I got a random back spasm that took me to the floor and like took my breath away. Check this. See this wire? I still have a hot pad. This was
Heating pad.
heating pad. Yeah, this is like the last 2 days I've had this on my back, trying to get it back again. But man, we were getting ready to take the dog to the dog park, and I sat down, and it hit me so hard, and I just the current wife had to tie my shoes that morning because I couldn't bend down to tie my shoe, and man, it sucked. I'm achieving all sorts of old man status this year. I got my hearing aids, got my glasses. I wear black socks with sandals now. Come at me.
Speaking of which, I need to make an eye appointment for myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm due for another one as well. Definitely due for another one.
I'll see if I come home from Mexico before I worry about that.
Yeah. Don't spend any money until you come home because we might need it for your ransom. So make sure you.
That, or you might be able to cash in on that life insurance plan.
Oh yeah, we should be clear. I'm not paying it. It'll be fine. Where are you going in Mexico?
Mazatlan. Mazatlan. Yeah.
Traveled a lot. I have to admit, I think you're brave. I traveled a lot in Mexico for a while, but I always had somebody with me as an interpreter. I think I might have flown once by myself, and even then, when I got to my destination, somebody picked me up. So, basically what I'm saying is I had like a handler all the time, like as far as getting me places and interpreting things, because I don't speak Spanish. I speak very little Spanish. So I think you're brave. You're a brave person. I wish I was that brave. I would love to take the family, been comfortable enough to take the family places into deep Mexico. I mean, we've done Baja, but Baja is just.
But I think I think it's a touristy area. Like,
I'm sure it is.
Not like, I don't think I'm going anywhere crazy.
Yeah, and like we talked about last week, the fact that you can even get on the plane in TJ from the U.S. side now is just, that alone is just a huge bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
my concern is the connecting flight. Like, it's not direct on the way down. On the way back, it is. But,
that does add a wrinkle.
Go to another city and then switch airplanes and hope everything's good.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, like little things. Like I'm going through security, and the guy's asking me about something in my bag. And I'm like, what's he complaining about? I don't have anything in my bag. And the guy who's there with me, he's like, a torch. You have a torch. And I'm thinking like a lighter. I'm like, no, I don't have a lighter. He says you have a torch. I'm like, fuck, I don't have a torch. And then he pulled a little flashlight that I had in my bag. And I was like, okay, yeah, I have a flashlight. Is that a torch? Yeah, I have a torch. I take everything back. And that was like a big no-no, which I don't think there's a no-no here. Can you not bring flashlights on planes?
No, you can. As far as I know. It's not like I travel with a flashlight that often, but
yeah, I've
never heard of that being an issue.
I have a little one I used to keep in my backpack because like I would be climbing under tables or working on stuff and need a flashlight. So yeah, I don't know why it was such a big deal, but he was not happy with me that I kept insisting there was no torch in my bag.
Look at you breaking the law.
Yeah. He really didn't like it when I looked at him and said, "Speak English," or I can speak Spanish. I guess that's another option.
Technically, I guess I am in your area.
I think the problem was the battery. Oh, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Back in my day, we used to have a Walkman with like 10 batteries in it. Get on a plane.
We've had 2 booking requests come in. Nice
ticket requests come in. That's gonna be our goal, man. I want to sell out in a year. I just want to sell the conference. I want to be able to tell people that there are no more tickets. Maybe we'll do that next year, even if I have to lie about it. I'll just be like, yeah, no more tickets. We're sold out. see how much of a panic buying it starts. or do the whole, yeah, we're down to our last couple of tickets, so if you want one, get it now. It might be gone. All right. If you're wondering what's going on right now, this is the after show. This is how we roll in the after show.
Yep. My kid is in uh, uh he's backstage of a play, so he's doing the one controlling half of the microphones for the kids on stage tonight.
You bring him to Chicago, we could use that sort of help in Chicago.
Yeah, we did forget to turn on a couple microphones last year, didn't we?
Just a few.
Our design company, they did the bumper for us last year, right? Can you
Yeah,
add it to
yep.
their list to work on? Lower
Well,
priority, but
they can't do they can't do anything until we have images. Like, well, I mean, I guess it depends how they do it. But last year they took the photos from the conference. I mean, we can do it. Nobody will know.
they'll never know.
Yeah, I guess you did that. We didn't run any bumpers or anything during the live stream, did we? No, we
Not
didn't.
during, but I want to, instead of like last year, we waited till we got back home and like 2 weeks later before we even started on them. Where if we can have the team, like, let's bang them out and get them ready to go, because it wasn't that hard to do when we had good audio. It wasn't that hard to do.
Yeah, we had good audio and we get a good stream, good workflow going.
Yeah, there was the one where I went through and I put all of the slides into the video.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Tim is bringing some equipment to hopefully make that a non-issue this year.
Oh, great.
'Tis the plan.
TJ, you hit the bad back. Yeah, I did well. I mean, I know a lot of people have bad backs. I mean, not old guys either. But yeah, I did. I always was very happy of the fact that like I had a very athletic youth all the way up until, you know, honestly up until cancer. I tried to come back after chemo, and that's when I realized I'm like, no, I'm done. But I had all that, and even after all that, you know, my back was good. My knees, you know, I lost all my cartilage in my knees, but you know, that's probably more because of my fat ass stomach than the sports I played. So I was always happy that, you know, my back was still good. But yeah, I don't know, man. It hurts. It's bad. Yeah, racing mountain bike. See, that's it, man. Yeah, in soccer. Yeah, yeah. I don't, it's hard to say, like, you know, say people shouldn't do sports because I loved them. I mean, like I said, I played them well into my adulthood. I played adult baseball. Um, played basketball a lot, especially when I was living down at the beach. It's hard to say not to do it, but man, when you really get up there, well, like my knees, I'm sure I could have gone a couple more years. I've not played so much sports, but I don't know. It's whatever. It just sucks getting old, man. Body starts to break down.
Yep.
Sucks.
That does. Ugh.
Zero regrets. That's right. Yeah, that's the other aspect of it. Our healthcare system here in this country is horrible.
I'm frustrated because I just gotten back into playing ultimate frisbee, and then went to Big Bear and messed up my knee and my hip, and I really need to go get it looked at, and just haven't done that yet.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, right? Like when you do get hurt, you don't bounce back nearly as quickly as you used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's true, I guess. Yeah, Sarah's got a good point. As much as I complain about it, I was actually just talking to my doctor about it. I'm like, there was a time where I just wanted to see my kids graduate from high school, so I'm never upset. Like every time I get a birthday, I can't believe I'm still here. It's just fantastic. But yeah, I wish my body was as excited to still be here. It's the only thing.
Yep. Alrighty, I'm gonna go get ready for my kid's performance, even though he's not really
Sounds good.
performing.
All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. It's been
Thank
fun. Talk to you later.
Bye.
See you next week. John won't though, because he doesn't love you as much.